Again with MITech TV. Today, it's hard to believe it's October 23rd. Where has the year gone, huh? So with me is a longtime friend, Tom Kelly. I knew him when he was just an entrepreneur. Of course, now he's the president of Automation Alley, a group that I've been associated with way back for a lot more than 20 years now. And you guys, of course, were really focused on Southeast Michigan at one time, focused on manufacturing, and now the buzzword is Industry 4.0, Fourth Industrial Revolution, and now you're statewide, right?
Yeah, well, we are statewide. We have, when we started, we had about 350 members that were manufacturers in Southeast Michigan. We now have over 2,000 manufacturers throughout the state. But I got to tell you, still 60-70% of all of our work is done in Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne counties, right? Those are the gorillas in manufacturing for Michigan. And so, our home is still here in Southeast Michigan and always will be, because more than half the manufacturers are based right here. It's a great story. It really is just an amazing concentration of manufacturing anywhere in the U.S., right here in Southeast Michigan.
Absolutely. And of course, around the state, there's something in the neighborhood of 12,000 manufacturers. A lot of them are auto related, but a lot of them are not. You'd be amazed at the diversity of manufacturing in this state. So one of the programs you've been putting on, I can't remember how many years it's been, 4 or 5, I think, something called Integr8. Which was a one-day conference. I think it expanded at one time to 2 days. Hey, and now it's year-round, right?
Well, yeah, you're right. So Integr8 has been so well received by the community. We've had upwards of 1,200, 1,300 people coming to this conference. This last year, it was a one-day conference, and it really focuses on all things technology related to manufacturing. You know the show, Mike. You've been there many times. But we got frustrated that we would have this great event for one day out of the whole year. And we, of course, would do our work throughout the rest of the year. But we wanted to change the narrative. We wanted to make this a year-round event. So we've switched Integr8 from being a one-day conference to being 12 roundtables, each roundtable with a different topic. So in January, we're going to have a roundtable around global trends in Industry 4.0. In March, we'll have a roundtable on 3D printing. In April, we'll have a roundtable on artificial intelligence. And so it's a way to bring experts together along with just your everyday manufacturers that are trying to figure out, and to really develop a playbook on what do you need to do over the next year or two if you want to understand and stay ahead of the curve on these technologies. It's really what Integr8 always has been, Mike, an educational medium, but to do it in a way where we can be more proscriptive. You know what I mean? Like not just everybody gets together and what a feel-good day we had talking about technology, but actually saying, where's the damn playbook that says, what do I do next if I'm a small manufacturer? And that just takes a lot more effort and a lot more time, and we couldn't do it in a day. So we had to break it up into 12 days over 12 months.
So how is this exactly going to play out? Is it live? Is it virtual? Is it both?
It's not virtual. We didn't feel that that's conducive to the kind of information and dialogue we want to have. So it's all in person. We're going to move it around the state is our hope. We're going to start with our first one here at Automation Alley, and it's in person. So, and it's invitation only, because we want to make sure we have the right people around the table. These are small round tables, anywhere from 10 to 25 to 30 people. That's it for these round tables. But it's really focused on developing what are the playbooks for government? What is the governor's office and the MEDC and the legislator need to pay attention to? For academia, what do academics need to be doing to support industry? And then, of course, what does industry itself have to be doing to make sure that they're staying up with all of this change? Because, Mike, you just did an article on this. The pace of change is so dramatic. And I don't think, especially our small supply chain manufacturers, I don't think they really understand what AI is going to do to their business or what 3D printing is going to do to their business, right? How is this going to, what collaborative robotics is going to do to their business? You see it yourself where it's very difficult for them to get their head around. And we're trying to develop a prescriptive model that will say, here's what you need to do. And here's how you can go forward to make sure that you're staying competitive.
Matt has joined us. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, sorry about that. I had a
Hey,
minor
Matt.
technical issue here. Hi, Tom. So where are we in the list of questions here?
We were just talking about the roundtables, and he was explaining that. So
Integrate the roundtable series. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do people get an invitation to attend then?
Yeah. So what you want to do is come to automationalley.com/events, and you'll see there'll be a list of events, and pick the event you'd like to get invited to, which will be one of the roundtables. We'll get back to you and we'll have a conversation with you so that we really have an idea of who are we putting around this table that allows us to make sure we have the best opportunity to come up with good output that the rest of our community can digest and implement, right? So that's how you do it. Just come to automationalley.com/events. And sign up to get an invitation.
And as was pointed out in my story, that even Technology Century picked up. I twisted Matt's arm a little bit. So
happy to, Mike. Happy to.
Thank you. Yes, the OEMs and tier ones, they got a lot of money. They can experiment. They can do things. It's really the little guys, 2s and 3s. I mean, I worked in manufacturing when I worked my way through college, and it was a mom and pop shop with 4 plants. They wouldn't have the money to experiment with Industry 4.0 and all the stuff that goes along with it. So it's important, of course, to have them at the table, I would assume, right?
Yeah, and what that's such a good thing you just brought up, because we get the same kinds of questions. It says, Tom, I'm small, I don't have any money, how can I possibly keep up with all this technology? And what I tell them is, it doesn't cost you a cent to learn. In other words, ChatGPT 3.5 is free. ChatGPT 4 might cost you $20 a month. Go put down $20 a month and start asking a ton of questions to artificial intelligence so that you can learn what's possible. The other day, I asked it, how do you build a heat exchanger? Go ask that question if you're listening, and you will be floored by the kinds of answers that you will get from ChatGPT, where you think, well, that's heavy engineering. There's no way that ChatGPT could know that. There's no way it could know my business. And what I challenge you as an audience listener is go ask it your most difficult question. Now, caveat, don't ask it anything that's a competitive advantage to you, because then Microsoft knows it and OpenAI. But ask it problems that you're like, I don't care if Microsoft knows the solution. I need the solution. You will be amazed at the dialogue you can begin to have. And whether you love it or hate it is immaterial. It's what is. And so you have to learn what this current technology is. And don't be afraid to experiment. And Mike, it doesn't cost you any money to learn. And that's all we're asking of our members and our community, is to learn. Be willing to learn.
Now, I know one of the things in Mike's initial story about I-40 was this state program that helped smaller companies, afford some of the technology that does cost money, that is more than just looking stuff up online. Talk to us a little bit about that. What programs are available to help businesses with this?
Yeah, well, the program Mike's talking about is the state will match up to $25,000. So a $50,000 project, state will pay half of it for Industry 4.0 related technologies. So think a 3D printer, think a collaborative robot, think a new software system for your manufacturing. And what we're finding is the companies that are taking advantage of this program, they're seeing paybacks on the order of months, like 3 months, 2 months, right? Because the technology has gotten to a point where, when I can buy a collaborative robot now, a small machine tending robot for under $50,000. And if you think about how difficult it is to get a person to be a machine tender, that falls in the dirty, dangerous, certainly dull category for someone.
Boring.
Boring. You guys talk about the dirty, dangerous, dull stuff. And now that small manufacturer who never thought in their life that they would have a robot in their small factory now has a robot. And the anecdotal evidence we're getting from these manufacturers, paybacks, like I said, are measured in months. Even smalls are saying, look at this 50 grand robot, it's paid for itself in 3 months because I can get more product out the door and I can make product darn near lights out because the robot can take the material out of the CNC, put the raw material in, and the CNC machine then does the next job. It's a brave new world, but we want to embrace it and not be fearful of it because there's a lot of opportunity out there. And I think our small manufacturers, you guys, you know this, Matt, and so do you, Mike, they've been so burned by technology over the last 20 years that they're darn near sick of it. And yet this is the most important time to actually pay attention. It's right. Actually, things are actually like capable these days. You're not going to get sold a bill of goods. You're actually going to get sold an ROI.
Yeah, that was the case, Mike, with your example, the small shop in the Upper Peninsula, right?
Right.
Where they bought one cobot and it's being used as a machine tender, which was probably a really awful, boring job. So now there's a robot doing it, and that's what that's what a lot of this stuff that people are afraid of, and I've heard that expressed as the 3Ds, the jobs that robots are taking over are, dirty, dangerous, dull, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And we want to encourage that because there are no people. We all grew up in a world where there were more people than there were jobs. And so robots meant job displacement. It's taking our job. We live in a world today where there are not enough people to do the kinds of manufacturing. And this is after we outsourced all our manufacturing jobs to China. Guess what? They're all coming back. It's amazing how much manufacturing is returning to the U.S. because of all myriad of reasons that we won't get into today. Who's going to do those jobs? We have to automate everything. And I've been saying this for years. We have to automate everything that's not bolted down because that's the only way we're going to be able to grow GDP at 3 to 4% and get out of this debt problem we have as a nation. We have to make a whole lot of money fast.
Ain't that the truth? So.
Yeah.
Got about 2 minutes left, Matt. You got a quick question?
Yeah. I was interested in this talking point you provided about the international business. What else is going on at Automation Alley? Talk about that a little bit. $2 billion gets your attention.
Yeah, right. No, I'm so proud of our international business team. Noel Nevshahir and his team, Lisa Lasser, and the list goes on. All the people that help us run trade missions. We've been doing this since about 2004, so about 20 years, 19 years we've been doing this. We just crossed the $2 billionth of export contracts for small manufacturers that we've taken with us. Think about that for a minute. Automation Alley has probably received, I don't know, $20 million over 10 years from the MEDC to support our programs, and we've generated $2 billion in exports.
100x return then, huh?
Yeah, 100x return. And 10,000 jobs. And these are numbers that are cataloged by the federal government. So it's not like we self-report and boy, we're kind of a little, we put our thumb on the scale. No. These are reported from the Department of Commerce and delivered back to us that we then share with the MEDC. So what a feather in our cap. And I mean, for everybody that preceded me, because I just get to announce the great news, but we've been working on this for 20 years. And what a great success story that is. And boy, if you haven't been on a trade mission with Automation Alley, I got 2 billion reasons why you want to come with us.
Okay. All right. So once again, folks want to sign up for your new roundtable discussions. I know it's invitation only. So how do they get that, or at least get a shot at an invitation?
To get a shot at it, go to automationalley.com / events. And that'll take you right to the page where you can pick which roundtable you might think you want to sign up for.